Welcome to Into Abundance, a Soulvana podcast with Regan Hillyer, self-made multimillionaire, serial entrepreneur, philanthropist, best-selling author, and the world's leading spiritual guide on abundance, prosperity, and soul set. In this podcast, Regan brings you the most powerful ideas, concepts, stories, wisdoms, and inspirations to help you rise and expand into higher levels of success, abundance, and prosperity in all aspects of your life.
Hi there, it's Regan Hillyer here, and welcome to the Soulvana podcast. I'm a speaker, a coach, and entrepreneur, and I'm really excited that for this episode, we're going to be diving into awakening your inner goddess. This has been a deep part of my personal journey when it comes to awakening not just my inner goddess, but actually the inner goddess of so many other divine beings on the planet. Whether you're in a masculine body right now or a feminine body, we all have a goddess within us. We all have this divine part of the feminine that is looking to come through and be expressed in multiple different ways. During this episode, we're going to go and actually look at what are distortions when it comes to the feminine, and how do we start to clear them? If we truly want to tap in and embody our divine feminine energy, allowing us to be in greater flow, greater trust, tapping into deeper layers of manifestation, then we must also clear and shift and dissolve anything which is holding us back from actually tapping into that unique, divine, pure energy. So when we talk about distortions within your field, what this means is that there may be mental programs or patterns, imprints of information, certain patterns, certain emotional patterns, fears, anything which can be blocking you or stopping you, truly tuning in and actually embodying the highest frequency of the divine feminine which is available to you right now. Now, when you start to understand that these distortions are there, the natural question to ask is, why are they there and where have they come from? And the big thing to know is that for many of us, if we have these distortions around the feminine within our field, then often these are not ours in the sense that these are multi-generational. You know, it's proven that our ancestors' DNA, our ancestors' emotional patterns, our programming, many of those things are actually passed down through our lineage, and they're in our cells as humans. It's called the study of epigenetics, and this has been proven through science that the emotional programs and patterns are literally in your cells. And so when we start realizing this, and we start realizing that there are these elements and distortions which have been imprinted upon the feminine for generations and generations, as well as societal distortions and expectations on the feminine through humanity, we start realizing that many things within our system and within our field, which we may believe about the feminine or maybe even be embodying around the feminine, are not actually ours. Now, the important piece to really know and remember in this is that even if these distortions are not yours, if they're showing up within your field, then you have an obligation and a responsibility to clear them. Now, this also works two ways, and this is exciting when you realize this, is that if something has been imprinted within your field and you're carrying something from the collective, which you get to shift and clear and dissolve out of your system, it means that you're not only dissolving it out of your personal system, you're actually assisting to dissolve this through the field of the collective. So every time you go through and you clear a false distortion around the feminine in your own life and in your own field and in your own system, you're doing that for you, but you're also doing that for humanity. What a gift. What a gift. So when it comes to these distortions, how do we recognize them? Anytime you feel that there's some sort of expectation from someone else when it comes to you being related to the feminine, or maybe an expectation you're having on yourself. Maybe it's a certain belief, again, that someone has about you because of the feminine, or maybe a belief you hold about yourself. Maybe it's a certain fear that you have directly associated to the feminine. For example, oh, maybe I don't have a chance to actually manifest this job I desire because it's more of a man's job. I think a man would get that. Anything related to the feminine that can be seen as a block or a limit is a distortion, because your divine feminine energy is creator energy. It is direct energy from the divine mother. It is the feminine side of the consciousness of God, right? And you have this energy flowing through you, but especially as women, we forget and we're disconnected to the true power of this energy simply because we often have so many distortions running in our field. Distortions, again, that we're holding about ourselves or that maybe other people in our lives are projecting onto us. So how do we clear them? Well, firstly, we must be aware of them. I want you to ask yourself, where have I been limited, blocked, or stopped when it comes to truly tapping into my divine feminine nature? Where have I let myself back because of some sort of projection or some sort of belief or fear which I've held myself directly related to the feminine? And the more you go into a deep inquiry around this, the more you start building up conscious awareness and start going, oh, interesting. Okay, that's not mine. That's not true. I don't choose to subscribe to that anymore. No, I don't tolerate believing that. And guess what? I'm not going to have this fear simply because I'm embodying the feminine, right? And you start actually seeing this. And from this place, we start to clear them. We start to shift these distortions. You can literally request and say to yourself, I decree and declare that these distortions shift out of my field. I request right now that anything blocking or stopping my divine feminine nature drops and dissolves out of my field and out of my system now. You can incorporate this into your daily practice. You can build your own conscious awareness around this. You can utilize your friends, your family, your partner, your environment to really help you see any time which you are living into a distortion, a block, a limitation directly linked to the feminine that is looking to be embodied through you and by you. And the more that you become aware of this, the more that you clean and clear your system, the more that you're going to be able to tap into this divine, authentic feminine energy. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm excited to dive deep with you on another episode really soon.
Dear listener, if you resonate with Regan and her style and would like Regan to help you rise, expand, and manifest greater levels of abundance, you'll absolutely love her free immersions and her journey on Soulvana. To get and experience more abundance magic from Regan, simply visit soulvana.com/Regan or click the link in the description of this episode. Would you like Regan to cover a specific topic on her podcast, help you with a specific challenge, or answer your question, or perhaps send a message to Regan? Simply visit soulvana.com/Regan or click the link in the description of this episode. Thank you so much for being here, and we can't wait to connect with you energetically in another episode. See you soon.